Well, good morning, everyone. It is March 25th, 2025. Oh, got a little reverb going on there. Okay, got it figured out. How is everyone this morning? Send me a note in the chat and let me know where you're located so I can say good morning. Good morning, Share Baby 29. Glad you could make it. Good morning, Tire Man from Surfside Beach. Good morning, Susie Kabloozy. It is so good to see everyone. Good morning, Bully from Florida. Good morning, James. Let me see if I can get James on here. There we go. All righty. We have Melissa Cheney is here from Texas. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Sam.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I got quite a bit of energy today. I woke up on the right side of the bed and I hit the ground running.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. So we have Very Blessed here from Texas. Good morning, Very Blessed. Melissa Cheney from Texas. Susie said she's listening with her AirPods. She's running from room to room. Good job, Susie. Glad you're here with us. Sarge, good morning, Sarge. Hello, Rich from Cali Men. All right, I'm assuming you're here in California as well. Joy, good morning from Las Vegas. Wendy is here. Good morning, Wendy. Sarge, can you say good morning in the voice of Robin Williams? I'm not very good at that kind of thing, Sarge. I wish I could, but maybe James can. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. the good morning, Vietnam.
There we go. That sounded pretty good. So we have Thomas over on YouTube from Sacramento. Welcome, Thomas. We have Glenn here from Louisiana. Dark Horse. Good morning, Dark Horse. Hold on, Adam. Let me see if I can get you on here. There we go. And we have Traveler from, where are you at, Traveler? Send me a message in the chat. I'm glad you can make it, one of our subscribers. PJ Party is here. Good morning, PJ Party. Glad you're here. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Vietnam.
There we go. That's what we were waiting for.
There you go.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, man.
Like I told Sam, I hit the ground running today. With all the things that are happening in the country, and some of the things that happened to me last night, I had a hard time falling asleep because I was so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. There is so much. Hold on, guys. Let me get this volume right. There we go. Okay. There is so much going on, man. So, let's see. We have Christy B from Hayesville, Kansas is here. Traveler, is in Central Valley, California. Wonderful. Linda Harrison. Good morning, Linda Harrison. Yeah, so there is a lot going on, you guys. I mean, it is rapid fire. Oh, wait. I think we got Mega Dave here. Hold on.
Yeah, Dave just showed up.
He's selling some corn.
He said exactly.
Careful on that word on this app because it means two things.
Well, as Chuck Grassley would say, it's time to harvest the corn.
There you go.
Morning, Dave.
That's right. Moving soybeans. What's up, guys?
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
So we had Alex texted me off camera and said that he'll be a little late today. So everybody's got to give him nothing but crap about it when he finally gets here. We got to get. So tell me, guys, what we'll go over the Daily Dispatch in a minute, but tell me what you are seeing out this morning in terms of current events. In fact, wait a minute. Let me do a. If you're on TikTok, double tap that screen, share this live out, please. If you'd like to contribute to our daily Tiny Diny goal, that would be wonderful. And Traveler just did. Thank you, Traveler. Lord Bullion is here. Wonderful. If you're on X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, you can give us, if you would, give us the positive affirmation button or the thumbs up. And if you are on TikTok, we do have subscriptions available now, so you can be part of the inner circle. That would be wonderful. All righty. So we have Matt Garfield here with a bunch of Tiny Dinies. And Christy B sent a bunch of tiny dinies. And Susie sent a bunch of tiny dinies. And Very Blessed sent a bunch of tiny dinies. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. So what do you guys think? Anything pressing this morning?
The fact that Nancy Pelosi's been booed out of her.
Oh, I saw that.
It's been all over my TikTok. I'm like, what on earth?
I know.
And people are throwing comments right and left. And she's just, I'm surprised they didn't lynch her, to be honest with me.
Well, you remember there is one particular post that says they won't be able to walk down the street.
I know.
So
I know.
I am very much excited about that. Tiny just sent a whole bunch of tiny dinies. Thank you, Tiny. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, between her and Chuck Schumer, right? It's starting to fall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're in big trouble and they know it. And again, how much of this is kayfabe? How much of this is reality? I don't think it really matters at this point. I think what we're seeing is the exposure, whether it's already happened and it's been a replay now or it's happening in real time. The fact is that these people are getting lambasted. And I, for one, am glad to see it.
You know, when I was a kid, I was probably like 12 years old when this happened. We were out at a fair, and my mom ran into, it was Nancy Pelosi, Barbara Boxer, and Dianne Feinstein at a booth.
Wow.
Stumping for somebody. Now, my mom was, if you know Annie Oakley at all, that was her personality. She was 5'5", and she broke horses for fun.
Wow.
Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, my mom came within that close of decking Pelosi, and I wish she would have.
Wow. Wow. That's one for the books.
No
Were
kidding.
they all at a dunk tank? Like throw the ball at it and see if you can pick them or what?
I wish they would have been. They were stumping for a lady that was a local whatever there out in San Bernardino County that they were trying to get. So I think it was actually to get Boxer in office at the time.
Oh, no.
It was back in the late 80s, early 90s when this was. And so, I mean, I remember her getting into a fight. She was getting ready to go whoop some ass, as she would have said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Susie Kabloozy said, haha, that was priceless. Matt Garfield, one of our subscribers, said she did the finger wag at one of the people. And Traveler, another subscriber, as well as Matt Garfield, said that would have been great to see. Absolutely, that would have been great to see. Are you kidding me? Oh, my gosh. You know, it's funny talking about moms going against the establishment. I don't know have you heard about my mom's grand jury stint, Adam?
No, I haven't.
So my mom, hold on, let me grab something here.
I think my shirt says it this morning, don't you think, Dave?
What does it say?
We the
Oh, yeah, exactly.
are fed up.
So talking about moms going after the establishment. So my mom was on the grand jury that convicted Sirhan Sirhan, Robert Kennedy Sr.'s murderer. And this is her grand jury badge. Mom passed about almost a little over 2 years ago now at the age of 94. But she was on the grand jury that convicted Sirhan Sirhan. And so I sent an email to RFK Jr. And I said, look, you're the head of HHS now. Our families have a running history of fighting injustice. And I would like to carry that into this generation, both you and I. And I asked him if I could help somehow. And I got a response from them. And they said, we got your email. You know, we're busy right now. We'll get back to you. But, you know, who knows what might happen from it. But your mom going after those three and my mom going after the killer of RFK, that's significant.
Could you show that again, Sam?
Yeah. So this was here in Los Angeles. I don't know if you can see it very well.
That is awesome.
That's
Can you see the picture fine?
priceless.
Margaret Shalhoub. Her name was Margaret.
Yes.
She went by Maxine. But yeah, this was one of my keepsakes from my mom. And like I said, mom passed a couple of years ago at 94 years old. She had a good life. And we used to call my mom the general because mom didn't play around. We had, my mom had 12 brothers and sisters. And so you could imagine how big a family I have with cousins and aunts and uncles and all. We literally would rent a hall in Los Angeles 4 times a year, and we'd have anywhere between 200 and 300 people come. And it would be on Christmas Eve, Easter, Thanksgiving, and a summertime get together. And, you know, all of my mom's family now have passed, but that tradition lives on, and we still get together, you know, a couple times a year.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, you had asked about if we had heard anything. I know that we have a plethora of things that we look at every day and the things that are happening. But one thing that Dave and I were talking about outside the show, and we did actually talk about farming and what's good and bad for the farmers. But yesterday it was announced that Missouri had sued the CCP, and it was over not having protection or protective devices for COVID, what they created. And they won $24 billion in that lawsuit, and China didn't even show up to the suit.
Right.
They didn't show up to answer. So out of the $24 billion, they're going to take that money and buy back the 200,000 acres, or seize the 200,000 acres that China owns as farm ground. And,
yes.
And everybody, all the states need to come forward and sue them as well and get that number up. But you know, you want to talk about getting our land back and getting money to boot. That's a big issue, and it all comes from the Foreign Sovereignty Act.
Right, and is it the first domino to fall amongst many states to go after this CCP farmland? It could very well be.
I think you're going to see 49 states fall right behind.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Well, good morning. Glad you could make it, Alex.
How you doing, sleepyhead?
Yeah, I wish I
was. Right?
Yeah. Oh, he's got an itch. Alex has an itch this morning. How are you, sir? How's everything? How's mom?
It's the monthly trip for my mom's Pomeranian to the groomer, and the groomer's appointment was at 11 to drop her off. So, not sleeping. Though I did forget my glasses, so if I'm going like this, I'm still awake.
Okay. Are you on the road?
Football with fur.
Are you on the road, Alex?
Oh, no, I'm sitting in front of the groomers. It takes an hour, and it's a half-hour drive over to the groomers. So I'll just sit in my car and have some conversations with some gentlemen friends of mine and
excellent.
Talk about what's going on in the world.
So it was Vivi said, what are your guys' thoughts on the leaked chats? Now, I have my...
Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I have my perspective. My perspective is this is a signal to expose what has taken place over the last 8, 10, 20 years on platforms for nefarious players. And then I don't think there's any chance of the current administration having any exposure, but I think it's bringing it top of the mind for the population that there are things that have taken place in the past through these different communication apps. And as President Trump has said, well, we caught them all. So what do you guys think?
I'm gonna lean towards the side of trusting Hegseth.
Yeah.
And what he said, that this is just another instance of a reporter that picks up a story and runs with it like they did Russia, and there's no validity to it. I think it's the warmongers beating the war drum, and so when they perpetrate a false flag, the narrative has been set up as to who they can blame this time.
Right. Right, Dave.
No, I agree with that. I think that's a yet to be determined, or what the purpose of that was, because obviously if you got 5 people that are that important, you're not going to have a straggler fall onto it. It's not going to be added or purpose. I would say,
and we're not using Signal anyway.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. Adam, what are your thoughts?
You know, I think it's almost mental warfare, kind of, maybe that it got leaked out. If you think back, there's a couple of stories that come to mind. Number one was back in the days of Reagan when they unleashed the Star Wars and they did that whole graphic of kind of showing that, even though it was a total poker bluff then. And then you've got and then you've got the most recent story of where Trump was going in to negotiate with the head of the Taliban from his last term, where he walked in and he basically handed the leader of the Taliban his home and a picture of his home. And he's like, well, why do you show me this? Because he knew right where he was at. It was like, I'm going to bomb the shit out of you if you don't knock it off.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly. James, thoughts?
Well, I certainly think that he was dropping tidbits, and it was by design, in my opinion. It had to have been by design. We're dropping crumbs for people to pick up, and just feeding them a little at a time.
Right, exactly. So Miner sent a heart me. Thank you, Miner. We have only the Schwoglers. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Sent some roses. Thank you. Our Jeff Coat sent a tiny Diney and a heart meme. Thank you. Sarge said, who's one of our subscribers, said, one giant round of perhaps. I'm eager to see arrest, but trying to stay patient and have faith. Well, I think we all want to see arrest, and we don't know, you guys. There could have been arrests made already that we're not aware of, and it could have been held from the public's view, and these people are either 2.0 or have been put under submission. So I agree with you, Sarge. We want to see arrests, but I'm not 100% convinced that some haven't already been arrested. What are your thoughts, Dave?
No, I agree with that. If obviously we all want to see that, but if it's not time to show that, they won't.
Right, exactly. And I think if the military is doing what we think they're doing, they are so far ahead of us in terms of the polling and in terms of the pulse of the nation that I'm sure they're releasing things as they go forward, right? Yeah. But we're not going to be privy to that until it actually comes out optically, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Terry just said, I think it's a sting to find the leaker. You know, when they did that email with answer 5 questions what you did last week, the DOD told them to stand down at the local arsenal. And everybody was calling me like, Dave, what do we do? What do we do? We can't send another email in. We're not allowed to. We're told to stand down. I go, they're doing it for a purpose.
Right.
To see who, maybe send it in to see if it's fake. I don't know. I assume there was some reason behind that.
Well, and I think that's a perfect example. Remember when Ron DeSantis decided to run for president? I don't think for a minute that he was broken with President Trump. It was a specific play to show who was really for Trump and who was not. And of course, then he gets out of the race. And I think the same thing with Matt Gaetz. They make him the AG. You see all these chess pieces move. And then all of a sudden, oh, no, he's not the AG anymore.
I think Vivek was the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt about it. He would not say a bad word about Trump, and he dropped out before Iowa. And then I think DeSantis dropped out before New Hampshire. I go, just go through the weekend. You already spent the money.
Right, exactly.
What's it matter?
Exactly. James, what do you think?
I'm 100% on board with that. I think that's exactly the right piece, especially with what Dave just said. I'm on board with that 100%.
Right, exactly. So Carrie just sent some lightning bolts and some chili peppers. Thank you, Carrie. We have Valerie James is with us. Good morning, Valerie. Glad you can make it. Lisa Maria, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning, Lisa Maria. So everybody on TikTok, double tap that screen, share this live out if you would. And if you want to contribute to our daily goal of Tiny Dinies today, that would be wonderful. And again, we do have subscriptions available on TikTok, so you can become part of our inner circle. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun things with subscribers once we hit the 100 mark. And if you are on X, YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, please give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button. Also, too, Tiny, thank you for the Tiny Dinies. Also, we may have a special guest today. I'm waiting to hear back from her. She's located in Canada, and she's on TikTok. Her name is Tracy Clark, and we've been friends for a couple of years now. And she is what I would call an expert on energy in terms of personal energy and so forth. I think her and Alex will get along really well. And she's just a really, really sharp person, and she's a sweetheart on top of it. Anyway, she said that she was going to jump in if she could, if not today, tomorrow, or sometime in the next couple of days. So if you guys would keep an eye out for Tracy Clark in case she does jump in and I don't see her. All righty. So let's see. Let's dive in here since we've got Alex. Is there any current events you want to bring up before we get into a recap?
No.
No. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let me think about no. Okay. Rock Hog, thank you for all the tiny dinies. It's appreciated. Kevin Morgan said signal. Yes, exactly. We've talked a little bit about that already. We're all in agreement that it's probably some sort of a chess move, but in terms of how it's going to play out, we're going to have to wait and see how it progresses. So as we spoke about yesterday, 23andMe, once valued at $6 billion, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And apparently now there are talks of other DNA testing companies that may have some sort of be having some problems as well. And it seems like they're all getting linked back to the CCP. What are you guys' thoughts on it, Adam?
I don't see any coincidences here at all, because if you look at that you're talking about, I'm just going to go further down the hole and say you're talking about genetic warfare at that point. I mean, I think that's a reclaiming of that kind of information, because that information is completely invaluable. And for the CCP to get a hold of it, yeah, I don't see any coincidences here at all.
Right, exactly. Alex?
Right, Kevin.
I've always been leery of hey, send us your DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You can track all these genes, but there are other ways. Ancestry, you can do it. Even the genetic testing on, are you predisposed for this marker, that marker, that? I mean, I guess they've already got it, but some would say it's a HIPAA violation or whatever. But I mean, I'm not surprised. In this day and age, the most precious commodity is big data. And this push started probably early 2000s. Everything is big data. And so, billions of records at the Social Security office, 23andMe, start connecting the dots. And there's not any single person, unless you're in the middle of the Amazon and have never encountered the rest of mankind, that is safe from having your information out there. Everybody needs to be cognizant of that and doing due diligence on your banking, anything that has to do with your identity. And that's just the IT person in me speaking. Right,
and I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. James, what about you?
Well, back the government's always been about facial recognition. They took it a step further when COVID was around, trucking into some sensitive areas. They went with facial recognition, thumbprint, retinal identification, and any chance they could get your DNA, they would go for it. And They were doing it quietly, but it was effective. And anytime that you can avoid that, avoidance is half the issue. They have setups now where if you drive by, the computer-based scans the license plates that go by it, and they call out the vehicle that they want to pull over.
Right.
Tracking and watching the public as we move about, thinking that they're not watching me. That's a fallacy.
Well, and I think to that point, James, I owned a technology company from 1997 to 2001, and we brokered semiconductors. And back then, we were talking about, there was a legislation passed that said that every electronic device has to have a back door for the government to use. Well, it didn't come out in the FOIA until 10 years later, and at that point, people just got up in arms. Oh my God! But it happened 10 years before. So you could imagine here in 2025 with a camera on every iPad, every phone, every computer, Alexa in the house, Siri, all these different products, everything is being tracked. The only question is they don't have enough manpower to sift through all the information at this point. But with AI coming up, it's bound to happen at some point. So Drifty, oh, sorry, go ahead.
A big part of that delay is the fact that research and development is 7 to 10 years ahead of what the consumer market can ingest financially. And so the technology that we're using today was literally developed and ready 7 years ago.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, if you really think about the 7-year cycle from the time that the iPhone came out, the original iPhone, to the next iPhone, to the next iPhone, and the technology and the processing power and the chips. I mean, you're holding a device in your hand that is 100 times more powerful than, you know, the desktop computer was in the late 90s. So it takes time. So there's no telling what technology they have out there. And no, unless you're off grid and have no electronic devices, they already got you, folks.
You know, it's funny talking about technology being, delayed. In 2014, I got an email from Amazon, and they had asked me, they said, we have this new device, and we've chosen you as one of the people to test it, a beta test it. It was the first Alexa. And I remember putting it in my apartment. I was living in downtown LA in a 1-bedroom penthouse in downtown Los Angeles. I had it set up, and my friends would come over, or a guest or whatever, and I would just say, hey, Alexa, what is the 17th president of the United States? And back then, it would take about 3 or 4 seconds before she responded. But people freaked out. My friends of mine that would come over like, oh my God, they're hearing everything we have to say. I said, you've had computer cameras for how many years? You really think this is any different? I don't think so. Lisa, Drifty sent a heart me. Tiny sent a whole bunch of lightning bolts. Lisa Maria, a heart me. We have, oh my gosh, everybody is so generous this morning. Tiny sent some tiny dinies. Rock Hog sent some more tiny dinies. Lisa Maria sent several goats. Thank you, Lisa Maria. Rock Hog with more. Hey, 80 Deuce Cab is here. Good morning, 80 Deuce. Glad you could make it.
Well, eavesdropping with these devices, Sam, has been recognized by the public. You take a conversation that you have with a brother or sister or a friend, and you're talking about a Cape Canaveral trip, or you're going to go on a cruise to Alaska. What do you see in your email, in your spam email? The next day, you see all about the Cape Canaveral trip, or you see trips to Alaska. These are listening devices. They can eavesdrop. What was the guy that took off for Russia that blew the whistle on technology? He said it. He said you can. What was his name?
Snowden.
Edward Snowden. He blew the whistle right off the box, and he said, "Your phone doesn't even have to be on, and we can listen to you."
Right. Oh, you want to hear another story about that? About the phone being on? Oh, I think we lost Adam or something. So, as I said, I owned a technology company from 97 to 2001. And my partner and I decided to part ways just slightly after World Trade Centers. It was literally the next day. Anyway, we had been butting heads on several issues. And so I walked away from the company. And about 2 or 3 years later, he called me out of the blue. And one of the reasons I walked away is he wanted to do some things with Microsoft that I didn't think were appropriate. We were buying software. We thought it was legitimate. It turns out it wasn't. So I said, we got to get out of this. So a couple, 3 years later, after I left the company, he calls me. We go to have breakfast. I come into this breakfast place, and he walks in shortly after, and he sits down. He takes out his phone, pulls the battery out, and sets it on the table. I said, what the heck is that all about? Well, it turns out Microsoft, after I left the company, slapped him on the wrist and said, don't do this anymore. You're selling illegitimate software. Well, apparently he stopped, but then did it again, and they found out about him. They had his conversations from his phone when his phone was off. And that was back in 2002, 2003. So you could imagine what they're able to do today, right?
Yeah. I've had that taken off in Florida. My phone was no internet and no cell service. And, you know, I drove to the airport and we were flying across, coming up from Florida, going to Iowa. I looked at my phone and it was still on my travel map. And a blue dot was going across Georgia, Tennessee, and all that stuff. So it was still tracking me and I had no connection.
Right. Exactly. And Alex, you can probably speak to it more effectively than we can.
Well, everybody just for the next, 15 seconds, talk about cat food. There's Friskies, there's Whiskers, cat food, cat food, cat food, cat food, cat food, cat food. And now when you go to any other platform, you're going to start getting ads for cat food. This is nothing new. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a technology, and I may have talked about this on your show before, Sam, that the power companies, the electricity companies, were going to start offering internet because it is possible to plug a device into the outlet and you can carry the bandwidth signal simultaneously with the electricity. Okay. And so they magically out of nowhere, like it just disappeared. It doesn't happen. Like it doesn't go anywhere. And you have to ask yourself the question, well, if they've had that technology for 20 years to be able to float that bandwidth on the electricity lines, what is your television, your smart television, your coffee pot, your smart refrigerator, all of these things? Yeah, you're of the mindset, well, I need to connect these devices either with an Ethernet cable or to the Wi-Fi. But the reality is, folks, they can float bandwidth over the electricity lines. Interesting, right. Isn't it?
Very much so. White Wolf said drones are government surveillance scanning faces. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, I lived out in a very new town and community out here in Utah called Eagle Mountain back about 15 years ago. And I sat on the economic development board out there. And at the time, there was a data center that wanted to come in because it was such a new town, new city, that it was wide open. What it was the data center was Google was trying to come in and buy up every ounce of commercial, every square inch of commercial. And that was all that was, we didn't even have, I think we had a gas station at the time. And since then, what's happened was, since we didn't approve the Google data center going in to take up the massive square miles that it wanted under one center, next thing we know, which is border right on the border of Salt Lake County and Utah County, there's a place called Camp Williams that all of a sudden got the NSA data center, and every ounce of traffic goes through that data center, and it goes deep and it goes underground a long ways.
Right.
Now what sits out in that city of Eagle Mountain is Facebook's data center sits out there now.
Yeah.
So,
and what was the name of Facebook before they launched it as Facebook? LifeLog.
It was what?
LifeLog. The CIA created LifeLog. They couldn't figure out how to get it into people's hands. They rebranded it and called it Facebook. And here we are.
Can we just go back to MySpace, please?
Yeah. A friend of mine yesterday, funny story, he's probably 10 years older than I am. And, he has challenges with technology. I mean, he's okay. But he says to me yesterday, he was driving somewhere and he goes, "Oh, man, Sam, the fog is crazy here today." And he goes, "My MapQuest." And I said, "Your MapQuest?" I said, "Is that on your MySpace page?" And he just started laughing. It was cracking me up. I think we lost Adam again. Oh, Jack Miller just sent some tiny dinies. So did Drifty. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I don't know what keeps happening with I don't think it's anything I'm doing, but
Edward Snowden keeps flipping the switch
Yeah.
on Adam.
Exactly.
He's getting too many cat food ads.
Exactly. All right. So next up on our hit parade today, we have, what we talked about yesterday. Rolls-Royce planning to shift production to the United States. Now, that in and of itself is pretty significant, but I went on today on Daily Dispatch and I said, here are the countries and companies in terms of the amount of money that they've pledged to invest in the United States. United Arab Emirates, $1.4 trillion. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion. Hyundai, $20 billion. Apple, $500 billion. NVIDIA, over $100 billion. SoftBank, $100 billion. Taiwan Semiconductor, $100 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. CMA CGM Group, $20 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Merck, $1 billion. GE Aerospace, $1 billion. Those are significant numbers, you guys. And as we're approaching, how many days are we from April 2nd? Just a few more days, right?
Yeah, I think 7 or 8, I think now at this point.
What do you make of that, James?
Add Hyundai to the list.
Right, exactly.
I think it's magic. I think that table is turning, and if you think about it in the short term, with the first one you named is Rolls-Royce, what kind of engines do you think's on Trump Force One?
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be a typical engine or if it's going to be an alternate propulsion system. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, Rolls-Royce is a leader, and they're atop of GE, and for good reason. I mean, they build quality equipment.
Right.
And Adam's back. Adam's back too. If you want to get him back on.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I got you.
You got it?
I got you.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, Adam. I don't think is it something?
Rolls-Royce said they were going to begin production of the automobile here. I know they do make the jet engines, and I get all that, and maybe they'll also do that, but specifically their press release was about building automotives here. So
Okay. Well, I mean, whatever it is, you're talking about a United Kingdom company coming here to America to avoid tariffs. That's a significant move. Not necessarily the dollar amount, but who they are, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So positively,
Sorry, I was
Maryland
on,
sent a bunch of
Wi-Fi
tiny.
outage.
Oh, sorry, Adam. What's that?
No, I was just saying we got a Wi-Fi outage here, so I had to switch over to cellular.
Oh, I was wondering if
That's
it's something we
what's
were doing
going
on our end.
Yeah, no, it's Xfinity.
Oh, got it. Okay. So positively, Maryland just sent a bunch of tiny dinies. Wendy just sent some tiny dinies. Thank you, everybody. If you're on TikTok, double tap that screen. Please share this live out. If you want to contribute to our Tiny Diny Daily Goal, that would be wonderful. And we do have subscriptions available. If you're on X, YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button. It is truly appreciated. All right. So next up, we have. Oh, here we go. How about this, the most unheard of situation taking place in Florida? Ron DeSantis returns $1 billion in unused federal funds. What does that tell you? I mean, my gosh, James, what do you think of that?
Well, it just goes to show you one of the healthier states that plays by the rules. You don't see all the other states jumping right up and doing that, but you certainly won't see that from the state of Minnesota. When I heard that, and I heard who's in Minnesota already, people are running around pretty scared. But Florida, they do it right. They're doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam?
I was floored. I mean, it has never been heard of that I can recall in modern history at all. And so I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here with Utah, if it's going to follow suit or if they're going to still be, if they're going to kowtow to the CCP at all.
I don't know. That's
So
a very
it's
interesting.
curious to see. I don't think California's necessarily handing any federal funds back anytime soon right now.
Well, here's the thing with California. They tell us 1 minute that we have a $32 billion surplus. The next minute, it's a $14 billion deficit. Then it's 30 billion positive. Then it's 10 billion deficit. It's just the same thing here in California over and over again. Well, it looks like we lost Adam again. So we have, Agape.
He needs to start supporting Elon Musk.
Yeah, no kidding.
He needs to call Pelosi and get part of that California money to pay for his internet.
Exactly. Agape's Rescues Children, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning, Stacy. Hope you're feeling better. Our Jeffco, thank you for the tiny dinies. Traveler sent some more Tiny Diny's. Thank you, Traveler. So, yeah, I don't know what the heck is going on with Adam, but he's having his issues today. He pissed off the internet gods somehow. So here's a very interesting story. What's so funny, Alex?
Look at all these American flags and beards, so they have to be a patriot.
That's right.
American flags and beards in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this next story I think is really interesting. So the state of Colorado puts a portrait up of President Trump. Now, the main story is that he's heavy. He doesn't look good. It's not very, appealing portrait. What I thought was more interesting is that if you read the little name tag, or not name, but the little placard on the bottom, and credit to Real AF Patriot on X. He's a great guy. If you're not following him, go follow him. It's Real AF Patriot. He's on X. He's on Telegram. Anyway, he pointed out that in that placard underneath President Trump's image, it said the year 2017 with a dash and nothing filled in next to it. What are we talking about here, guys? Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, 2017 through 2025, or is it 2017? Yeah, who knows? You never know. And I wouldn't think Colorado would be on his side, but you never know how that works.
I have another explanation. It's Colorado. They're all too freaking high to know what year it is anyway.
It's funny talking about Colorado. So I lived in Colorado from the end of 2005 till about 2010 or so. It would have been 2012-ish. Anyway, I owned a glass company back then. It was called Glass Doctor. I had two locations. I had one in Winter Park, one in Denver. And this was right when they legalized marijuana in Colorado. And you guys, the amount of money. So I would get these dispensaries calling the company, my company, Glass Doctor, and they wanted to put bulletproof glass up. And, you're talking about a wall of bulletproof glass that would cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. And
cash.
And I was just going to say, I'd go in, my tech would go in, he'd make the quote, they'd call us and give us a deposit, but they all wanted to pay in cash. So when you say that there's a lot of marijuana in Colorado, that's not an understatement.
Well, the reason so I had a buddy that owned a dispensary out there. He also had the grow operation. He literally had a Connex, 53-foot long, 52-foot, however long, semi-trailer Connex building with the big swing open metal doors. And there were pallets of cash because though it is legal in the state, it's still federally illegal. And so you can't put your money into the bank,
right?
Period. And so when they opened those, there were truckloads. I know a 40-mile stretch of road in Colorado that the asphalt company was paid cash to repave the road for that town by a person who owned a dispensary because it had nothing to do with it. I mean, you couldn't put it in a bank, you couldn't invest it, you couldn't bankroll it, you couldn't do anything with it. So why not give it back out to the community where it could be used? But it's astonishing, and I think that there's been conversations of a nationwide medical, and I'm all for medical, but on the other side of it, the recreation hipster side of it, when you see what it's done, I was born in a suburb of Denver. And I lived there from 96 through 99. And just to go back now and see the town now, I mean, it's not, the rec side of things is not always the best side of things. I mean, you drive through downtown Denver and it smells like somebody ran over a skunk. Like the whole downtown because of the grow operations that are going on. I mean, it's permeated every aspect. And, you know, I've got kids. When they're adults and they can make reasonable decisions on what they want to do, you know, that's fine. But when it permeates a society and a culture so hard and so fast, they need to go back and look at the statistics on, you know, the usage by youth when these things happened. And it just, I don't know. That's a whole nother tangent. Sorry, I'm babbling at this point. I'll stop. But it's amazing what kind of revenue can be generated from those types of things.
Right. It truly was. It blew my mind. Oh my goodness. We just got a restricted on. Are we still there? Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still on.
Okay. We just got a warning for restriction. So I don't know what the heck that means, but.
Yeah, Adam is in the shadows too, wanting back on.
Oh, can you bring him on, one of you guys?
I don't see a request, Adam. He must have got booted.
Oh, well, he wasn't really on much. See, we have restrictions. Some live audiences, visibility has been restricted for some live audiences. Geez, Louise, you guys. I don't know. So everybody yesterday, we didn't just quit the live. We were violated on TikTok. I logged in an appeal. They immediately reversed it. But I don't know if we are getting, because of what we're saying, or if there's somebody in the chat that's doing this. I don't know.
It's somebody in the chat.
Yeah.
There could be trigger words too.
Yes, there's a trigger word. So like when we boot somebody for being mouthy, that'll pick up those trigger words. So if it comes up again, then it'll limit you. So we have to go. We can manually go in and clear those words out. I just have to figure that out through my, like I was telling Sam that I'm part of an agency, and they kind of tell you these hints on how to clear that out.
When you block somebody, it shows you the filtered words. If you hit the little X next to it, it will not add them to the list.
Okay. But we could go back and clear those out later too, right?
You know how? Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Maybe you guys can help me with it. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how I can get a flag behind me like you guys, so I had to settle for helicopter.
That's right. That works. And I tell you what, guys, I got to load a semi, so I'll just be listening.
Okay, Dave. Thanks for being here, brother.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let me see here. All right, you take it up. Adam, you really pissed off the TikTok gods.
Yeah, apparently I did. No, nothing else, but somebody's really messing with me today.
Yeah. All right. Well, at least you're back.
Lala said it might have been the cat food that triggered it.
I think it was the certain center that's located about 10 miles from me that probably did something.
Yeah. ShareBaby29 said, let's be adults, people. Lisa Maria, who's also a subscriber, said liberal tears. Maybe that's what's messing it up over there. I don't know.
Adulting is no fun. I refuse to grow up.
Yeah. Oh, hey, everybody. Full Mental Jacket just said, hey, Sam, I started getting messages from your imposter wanting to discuss banking with me. Let me make this clear again, everybody. Thank you, Full Mental Jacket. I only have one account on TikTok. It's Sam_Shalhoub. I only have one account on Facebook, one account on X, one on YouTube, one on Rumble. All of them are Sam Shalhoub or Sam_Shalhoub. No numbers, no letters, extra letters. And on X, it's Shalhoub Sam, just my last name first. So I will never send you a message out of the blue. I do my best to respond to all messages, but I will never send you one out of the blue. I'm never going to ask you to invest in QFS or Norwegian unicorns or anything else. So Full Mental Jacket, thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, I only have one account on TikTok, Sam_Shalhoub.
Why is it? Sarge, I read your comment and I immediately heard Cheech and Chong's voice in my head. I need a couple ounces of cat food, man.
Exactly. Gosh. So, all right, let's see. Okay, on TikTok, if you would, double tap that screen, share this live out. If you're on X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, please give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button. And you can send us a message on one of those other platforms. We'll see it here, and if you have any questions, just send them over, and we'd be happy to answer whatever it is we can. All right.
I'm not
So
gonna talk about Norwegian unicorns. That's my limit there, boss.
what's that?
I said I gotta draw the line somewhere. I'm not talking about Norwegian unicorns. Okay?
I don't know. This is the first thing that came to mind. I don't know where it came from. Our Jeff Code. Thank you for the tiny Diney Full Metal Jacket again. Yes, thank you for bringing that to my attention. It's because I need to announce it on a regular basis, and sometimes I forget. All right, so just to finish up that thing with President Trump's picture at Colorado, 2017, the dash matters. We've talked about that multiple times. 45-47. 2017 is the year he started with a dash and no ending number. I don't know, guys. Adam, what do you think?
Sorry, it cut out. I didn't hear everything.
Oh, well, hold on. I'll come back to you. James, what about you?
Well, we've talked about the 10-year term. He is allowed. Was he really president? I don't think they're claiming that he was president from 2020 to 2024. And it could be wide open. And Dave, I think, hit the nail on the head. Is it going to be 25 to 29? Is it going to be 30? How far could we go with this?
Right.
So I think it was an intentional, and I obviously think they made sure that everybody got to see that, so they could draw speculation that could be talked about on platforms just like we're doing here.
Right.
I think that this is where the Brunson case is really going to come into play.
Good point.
Yeah, I did reach out to Lloyd Brunson on TikTok. I haven't heard back from him, but I would love to get him on. But again,
with the NDA that he's under,
that's the thing. I don't know how much he could speak about it anyway. I found
they've got more than one case.
Right. Exactly. I did find it interesting that G Money had General Flynn on his show on Rug Pull Radio. And usually when General Flynn goes on what we would call 17 board shows, he doesn't usually talk about or have the host bring up anything about it, but he did with G Money. He didn't really comment on it directly, but G Money was talking about that other board multiple times, and General Flynn didn't deny it. Because we all know, at least we all think, he's part of the tip of the spear. But I found it interesting that he wasn't redirecting the conversation. He was just kind of laughing and chuckling. Does that mean that we're getting closer to exposure time for the number 17? Alex, what do you think?
Truth is stranger than fiction, my friends, and time will tell. I've seen a few of General Flynn's interviews lately, and he is extremely concerned about world affairs right now and the war drums banging. And so while you and I kind of are on separate sides of the fence as to everything being under, complete control and those things, I still think there is an element that still has a stranglehold on the progress. And I don't think we're out of the woods yet.
Right. James?
I think, well, I'm surprised he's showing his face at all, to be honest with you. Most military generals don't have that kind of exposure. They don't want it. And I'm surprised he's talking at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. Adam?
I will say this. I had the fortunate opportunity to have a brief encounter with General Flynn. And the man is, again, with you, James, I am surprised that he's even showing his face at all with what that man knows, what he does, and what he's doing behind the scenes. There is a lot more that meets the eye, but I think you're right. It is a signal of what's quickly to come here and what's going to be surfacing. But I can't think of a better patriot that I know of right now that has taken so much heat next to Trump than General Flynn himself. So
I agree. And General Flynn, if you are listening to this broadcast, as you know, I've reached out to you. I've sent in the required information. We would love to have you on the show. And if you hear this and you have any reservations, you can always call me. You can message me, but we would love to have you on the show. So I hope you'll consider it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about RFK bringing chemtrails to the forefront. He said 24 states moved to ban geoengineering our climate by dousing our citizens, our waterways, and landscapes with toxins. This is a movement every Maha needs to support. Wow. I mean, 30 days in, and he's already calling out chemtrails and geoengineering. What do you make of that, James?
Well, it's surprising that it took this long. Obviously, people are interested in where our money is being wastefully spent. But when you're talking about the health of the people, the damaging the soil, the crops, these storms that have horrific power, cloud seeding, in the aluminum and people that have dementia and Alzheimer's. I mean, they're doing some big time damage there, and I'm surprised that hasn't stopped like yesterday. That should have come to a grinding halt. But how they're making sense of it in our government allowing it to happen, that's just it blows my mind. I can't believe we haven't got on it sooner.
Right.
USAID funded it.
Well, sure they did.
I got to pick the dog up. I'll be right back.
Okay. Adam?
I have to agree with you, James. Here's the sad part: the fact that they're flying it out of I know at least out of Washington up there. They're mining the barium right here in Nevada. That's being sprayed with it, the aluminum. It blows my mind. The only thing I can think as to why it's taken even 30 days to get to this point, because I knew it was a hot topic for RFK. I think it's because it does involve the military-industrial complex side of things, which, as we know, there's two sides to our military, and so I think he probably had a little bit of a couple of gatekeepers probably get through, is my guess.
Well, and again, you guys, there's another perspective on this. Maybe the toxins that were in those chemtrails have already been removed, but in order to keep it at top of mind for the population, they're still running the planes and dispersing something that's not toxic, because you can't, if you're trying to take down a cabal like that, you've got to have something for people to look at. People are going to say, what, chemtrails, what? And they look up and they see them, whether they have toxins or not at this point, it brings it top of mind for the population. And I think that's really important.
Correct.
What do you think, James?
Well, I think you're exactly right on that. No doubt.
Yeah. Kathy said, damn, I wanted unicorns. Agape rescues children. Stacy said the dash does mean something. Absolutely intentional. I agree, Stacy. And hey, everybody who's on this live right now, a couple hundred people, go over to Agape Rescues Children on TikTok and give her a follow. She has got an organization that is out and going to be taking care of the kids that have been trafficked. It's a wonderful organization. It's Agape Rescues Children. Please go over and give her a follow. And if you're on X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, you can look up Agape Rescues Children and follow Stacy. It's well worth your time. So we have, let's see. ShareBaby29 said, chemtrails need to stop. They're horrible and weather manipulation is dangerous. I agree with you, ShareBaby. I'm just saying that there's a possibility they've already stopped the toxic portion of it, but they're leaving the rest of them up there for people to recognize and to see what's going on. It's just a theory on my part. Let's see. We have Stacy also said, I hope so, Sam. I sure hope that's the case. Well, there's no way to tell at this point, but I think it's a possibility, if nothing else. So everybody on TikTok, if you would, double tap that screen, share this live out. If you'd like to contribute to, there's the dog. If you'd like to contribute to our daily goal of Tiny Dineys, that would be wonderful. Do you want to say hello, Alex? There it is. What's her name or his name?
Her name is Beauty.
Hi, Beauty. She does look beautiful. She's what?
She's deaf.
She's deaf. She's been deaf since birth.
Hi, Beauty. Nice to meet you. Sorry, couldn't resist, you guys. Oh, gosh.
20,000 comedians out of work, but damn it, Sam is funny.
So, now let's talk a little bit about President Trump on Usha Vance visiting Greenland. He said that this is friendliness, not provocation. They're calling us. We're not calling them. We've been invited. And sure enough, the left jumps all over it. Oh, Trump's trying to push his way into there. What are you guys' thoughts on it, Alex?
I was starting my truck.
Oh.
I didn't hear what you asked.
We're talking. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, I don't think that he doesn't have to push when somebody's already calling for us to come over, because we know that Denmark is just letting them flounder the way that they are. So the people are going, hey, we'll gladly come over here. If the U.S. is going to join or pull us into them, by all means.
Right. James?
I think with the growth and the upcoming growth, I think it's, welcome with both arms.
Right.
And then it just puts the squeeze on Canada anyways. We'll just erase the border and make them the real redheaded stepchild they are.
Lisa Maria said, Sam and President Trump, two funny men. Thank you, Lisa Maria. To be mentioned in the same sentence as President Trump, I'm honored. Cognitive Dissonance 3 said, Sam, I have a question for you. Put it in the chat, Cognitive, and let me know what your question is. All righty, we have, how about Pam Bondi talking about prosecutions are coming for the fraud discovered by Elon Musk and Doge. We have been in the... Exactly. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I think this is the gateway in for the arrest that we've all been waiting for, to be honest with you. This has got to give the masses the palate for them to accept, a Clinton or a somebody or an Obama or even a Bush or somebody that's been held on a pedestal, proverbial pedestal as it were, for them to accept that. And I think that's where we're at.
Right. James?
I don't think that the public realizes the size of the bite that Pam Bondi's capable of. I think they're questioning whether she has the fortitude to actually prosecute anybody. But I can tell just by watching this lady's posture, she means business. And when she turns sitting right next to Donald Trump yesterday and talks across to Elon Musk, thanking him for all the things that he has found and pointing us to the right direction, and Kash Patel beefing up from the ATF, taking 1,000 agents, I think Operation Roundup is about to happen. And when you have somebody with that kind of aggressive behavior as an attorney general, I think she's going to jump down, and when she hits the ground, people are going to feel the thunder.
Well, and I think that's right. I think we are beginning the justice phase, and another, I would say, current event that would lead me to believe that we're entering the justice phase is that you have a Georgia jury that just ordered Bayer to pay $2 billion in damages for their Roundup weed killer. So you've got Pam Bondi, rattling her saber. You have a Georgia jury going against Bayer, one of the huge, pharmaceutical companies. And you have so many different points in recent history in the last few weeks where people are being held to accountability. I think this is just another portion of that narrative that's being seeded. What do you think, Adam?
I'm thinking, there's one other thing you've got going on here that's been slowly dripped out, and that's Catherine Herridge putting together those reports that have been brought from Gitmo.
Yeah.
And they're expanding that one in a massive way. And it's the prongs at which this is coming is almost unfathomable that it's coming this quickly and this well orchestrated. So it's coming, and I think we may have one of those shock and awe summers at this pace.
It could be. James?
I think it's just part of the momentum shift. We are gaining momentum at a ultra high speed, and like Adam says, it's going to be amazing head spinning summer, and I believe it all kicks off on April 2nd.
Yeah. Scratch 65, one of our subscribers said, we're waiting for that Band-Aid tearing off moment. Agape Rescues Children, Stacy, a subscriber, said, are they? I'm so ready to see handcuffs. I think we all are. 6U said, the Great Frog March. Absolutely. Lisa Maria, a subscriber, said, Pam Bondi, another badass. And that is so true. Tina said, FAFO. Couldn't have said it better myself, Tina. Absolutely agree.
I did not have financial relations with that terrorist organization.
Exactly. Alex is on a tear this morning. So the article that Alex sent me yesterday talks about Josh Hawley saying that he's introducing a bill to stop liberal judges' serial abuse of their power by banning nationwide injunctions. Now, I think the fact that these district or federal judges think that they can overrule the executive branch, especially with Article 2 giving almost unlimited power to the president, I find it very interesting, the timing of him bringing out this legislation on these injunctions. What do you think, James?
Well, just like they created the secretive panel of judges to include John Roberts, they had to have some sort of answer to disarm them, to take away their power. They were all put in place strategically to do exactly what they're trying to do. But when you have the likes of Pam Bondi saying, no, we're not going to do that, and here's why. And, you can talk about the Constitution, and you can bring up what's right and what's wrong. But we are just facing them just because they're a judge. They don't have the right to say what they're saying. You can't turn around an aircraft that's full of people that are terrorists, rapists, murderers, whatever. And maybe I shouldn't be talking about that the way I'm talking about it, but you're not going to stop what's happening now. And if it is something that's legitimately challenged, we'll face that. But you can't say that these group of judges, and I believe there's a bunch of them, they have to have an answer to combat the problem. And I think that's exactly what we're addressing right now.
Right. Gen X Holt said, yes, let's go. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking that this just peeled back something even more than what you just laid out there, James, from the other spectrum. I'm down here in Utah, and there is a rash of judges that think that they are God, that they don't have to abide by their oath of office. I mean, it's so appalling and abhorrent to see what these judges are doing. They think that they're above even our own president. Come on. I mean, they feel that they can violate their own oath of office with impunity. And now that's now turned the tide so that we can, as the people of the U.S., we the people can then go say, hey, look, you know what? You're not upholding your oath of office. So guess what? There's this clause in there that states that, you know what, if you violate this, then get a rope.
Right. Exactly. Alex? Oh, I don't know. Are you here with?
Yeah, Tina said that she hopes Bondi's got fuzzy handcuffs for Pelosi. And I'm just gonna put it out there. If Bondi has fuzzy handcuffs, she can use them on me.
Boy, you better hope that your significant other isn't listening.
Well, who do you think I was going to use them on?
Oh, okay.
The reality is, folks, we're moving into that accountability phase. The hammer's about to drop. The woman means all business. I haven't verified yet, but I heard that Kash Patel, his FBI, has already rounded up the top 10 most wanted in this country.
Wow.
He's already rounded. I mean, do we recall a single top 10 most wanted being rounded up during the last 5 years?
No.
Look, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're about to burn out a 7-second quarter mile at 160 mile an hour with our pants on fire as they all go down, and it's gonna be freaking great.
Absolutely, I agree. James?
Oh, I'm on board with it 100%. That, like I had previously said, the momentum is starting, and once we start building the snowball, it's going to clean house.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. All right, gentlemen. Well, it looks like we've pretty much gotten the recap done here. We've got Alex on the road. We got Adam having all kinds of internet problems. It's just you and me, James, the solid pair today. But let's go ahead and wrap it up for the day. And Alex, since you're traveling, why don't you go first with final thoughts?
I think I just summed it up, man. Springtime's here. If you didn't see my video I posted yesterday, it's time for a little rubber to meet the road. So
I did see that. That was cool.
I hope everybody has a blessed day. Get out and take 5 minutes for yourself. Get some fresh air. Take a deep breath. Step back from all of this that's going on, and just give yourself a moment to breathe. It can be a lot, even when you believe that we're on the right side of everything that's going on. It does us good to step away from it and really appreciate what matters, right? So take a deep breath. I hope everybody has a blessed day. And Sam, as always, thank you, brother.
Thanks, Alex. Hey, real quick before I get to the rest of you guys, Valerie James said, dang, I had a phone call and I missed the whole show. Well, you can watch every one of these lives. The replay is on Rumble, YouTube, and X. So if you go to samshalhoub.com, you'll see all of the platforms I'm on. Pick one of those platforms. That'll take you right to my channel. But you can watch all of these lives on replay on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Valerie James, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I wanted to get that out there. Final thoughts, Adam?
You know, I'd actually probably have to echo Alex's sentiment as well. In this, I mean, here it is a springtime and the weather's turning. I think, yes, take the time for yourself. And also, you know what, I thank you, gentlemen, and all those that we're sitting here voicing these things so that everybody can have the same right to be able to agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. And that's what makes this country great, is the fact that we all have different opinions, different backgrounds. And that is where we get the out of many one. So we're here for our families and for our own, but we end up all having a common ground so that everyone has those freedoms to enjoy and those rights that we were given by our Creator.
Very well stated, Adam. James, final thoughts?
Well, we talk about unity and trying to bring people back together. Last night prior to my retirement in bed, I was scrolling and ran into a panel of liberals, and it was probably one of the most refreshing things I'd experienced since our live yesterday morning. But I joined them and had questions and pointed out some of the things that we talk about on a daily basis. And we discussed several things, and really to have 9 other people on this live and actually listening to them and watching them be receptive to some of the things that I was talking about. And a lot of big bullet comments came out, but everybody was very, very calm. And they actually, at the end of the live, thanked me for joining them to bringing light to some of these dark subjects that we discuss on a daily basis. And for me, that's telling me if you can just one by one, if they start to awaken, and I almost think that's a rude statement to say to somebody or to put out loud. But as people are starting to realize what we're really trying to do here as a nation, it actually warms my heart, and I actually feel good about that. And I talk to people on a daily basis just like we all do. But if you're cool, calm, and collected when you're speaking with them, and actually try to just interject some comments if they ask, and they are awakening. So as we go forward with this big movement, this liberation starting April 2nd, I think a lot of us are going to be able to join hands just like we used to do in high school or in school and in churches. And that touches me. That's good. We need that.
Absolutely, I agree. And I've, like we've said many times, like when President Trump won the election, I urged all of our viewers to not rub people's noses in it. If somebody was sick, you wouldn't berate them to get them well. You would come alongside them. You would build them up. You would help them. And that's what I want to do on this platform. That's what I want all of us to do as individuals. And I think that was very well stated, James. So, all right, everybody, that's the show for today. As I said, you can see the recap on Rumble, X, and YouTube. And I want everybody, as Alex said, go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, have a good meal, hug the ones you love, because it's happening. Lots of good things are happening, and it's just getting started. The best is yet to come. So, all right, everybody, thank you for being here. Gentlemen, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day, and don't forget